The uninteresting show. The uninteresting show. Uninteresting show. I'm a cheese now I'm a cheese. I got pockets on my pants. I get things in my pockets. I get things in my pockets. I dream, but I ain't dream, but I ain't. Oh, it's the uninteresting show. Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Let's do it. Just how we're...
Okay. All right. This is just how we're going to have to do it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic, uninteresting show. I'm going to be your host, Rig, once again, walking you through it all. Now, last week, I asked you, what? Yeah, you. I'm talking, no, not you. The one with the mustache either. You. Yeah, you. What did you want to see? You guys replied back you wanted a top 10. You gave me a bunch of top 10s. So being a man of my word, that I try to be, that's exactly what you're going to get. All right. We normally don't do this whole scripting thing, so... All right. Here we go. Top 10s. We're going to go with top 10 horror movies to start. All right. Okay. Top 10 horror movies. No particular. You know what? Scratch that. I want to do top 10 worst horror movies. Let's start off with the bad and then get into the good. Top 10 worst horror movies. All right, starting in at number 10. Thank you to Mr. Alec Levelholtz, or Mr. Alec Lefel, like he likes to say. For this one, number 10 goes out to him, Lights Out. Now, I gotta go ahead and agree, in some level, it's not a great horror movie in the way that like it was produced or what have you. I mean, it's got your modern jump scares and your modern computer graphics and all that stuff you'd expect to see from a modern horror movie. But, and it's kind of lame and cliche in that way. But one thing that it does have some minuscule reason to see it is if you watch it again, and this goes for you, Alec, too, try to imagine the monster as being depression. If you didn't pick up on that, that movie is the monster, the ghost or whatever, is the physical manifestation of depression that's affecting the mother and the children. Anyway, so, but number 10, it's not the worst of the worst, right? Number 9, Human Centipede. What can you say about this movie that hasn't already been said? I mean, sure, it's like fun to get drunk with your friends and watch it one time, but in the world of horror, it's not really scary. It's not too gory, but it's some disgusting, I don't know. It's like one of those things, like, if you've never seen anything before, it might shock your pants off, but to me, I was just like, it's kind of just a vulgar display of grotesqueness for no reason. All right, number 8, The Blair Witch Project. Sure, at the time, when it was released, they had the whole country believing that this was somewhat of a true story or found footage. It's like the one that started the found footage. And I myself even believed it. I was a teenager. The internet was not popular. You couldn't just Google things. And if you wanted to, pictures took days to download. And so information didn't spread as quickly. And it worked. The movie spread like wildfire, and everybody, including myself, rushed out to see it. Now, that doesn't mean that it's good. It spends 90% of the movie, without giving you spoilers, of nothing. No, probably more than that, 95%. Then the last 5 minutes, things finally get steamy, and just when something cool just might happen, roll the credits. Yeah. This wouldn't be the last time that happened. I'm going to give an honorable mention, although it doesn't get a thing on my list, for Cloverfield for that same reason. You watched, you couldn't wait, something's about to happen, and roll the credits. All right, number 7, Sharknado. Although, once again, this is one of those movies, fun to get drunk with your friends and watch. I can't say enough about that. Like, if you got nothing else to do, fine B movie. But in the world of horror, not exactly frightening unless you have a phobia of sharks or NATOs. All right. Return of the Living Dead Part 3 and on. Let's just be honest. B movie horror, really bad stuff. The acting is the worst thing about it. I mean, even Part 3's got some decent special effects. And the gore's there. The story sucks. The plot sucks. You end up following one zombie without giving any spoilers, really, for the most of the movie. And it just doesn't hold up. It just doesn't hold up. It's not a very good one. Number 5, Ouija. This came out like 2014. And the trailer for it was amazing. People's eyes were flipping and spinning, and they were coming at you real fast. And the trailer's terrifying. So if you want a quick scare, I recommend you go look up Ouija's trailer. Now, the movie that we actually got, half the stuff that's in that trailer isn't even in the movie. That's right. Scares, jump scares are in the trailer, but not in the movie. Yeah, okay. So that's a pass. Pass on that one, number 5. Number 4, I Know What You Did Last Summer. This was a bad movie when it came out. It was tongue-in-cheek, it was cheesy, and it still sucks today, and it did not hold up. Same old story. It didn't know if it wanted to be, it seemed like a psychological horror thriller or a slasher film, so somebody flipped a coin and they did a little bit of both. It had your, cast of good-looking teenagers just ready to be chopped up. And in the most peculiar ways, right? But it wasn't in a forest. It was at your local high school and this, that, and the other. The horror comes home. And in my opinion, I just felt that it was done different. Like, it's been done better, with Terror Comes Home. This was pretty much the fish stick guy running around getting, back the kids that fucking ran him over. And rightfully so. You kind of wanted him dead. All right. Number 3, Resident Evil, any past 1 and 2. I'm strictly talking about the movies. Now, I'm a Resident Evil fan. If you've watched this show, I've mentioned Resident Evil many a times. Resident Evil 7, the video game, go play it. If you haven't, it's a horror movie in a game. It's fantastic. Go play it, put on some headphones, I don't care what system, play that bad boy. You won't be disappointed. But the movies? 1 and 2 were cool in the way that they touched and grabbed some things out of the game, at least in my opinion. There was some familiar stuff that you wanted there. The plot was better. It just seemed to do better. The soundtracks were done by actual musicians, I don't know. 1 and 2, and I think 1 is the stronger out of both of them. 2, okay, the introduction of Nemesis, some stuff like that. But 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever we're on to now, these things just kind of suck. And I don't want them to. I'm really disappointed. I want them to be great. But they're just not great. But thankfully there is some good news. Although this makes the list, they say that there's going to be a new director taking it over, and I hear it's going to be some of the guys who did Insidious and Saw and stuff like that. So, maybe they'll do it some justice. Okay. That was number 3. Number 2, Witch. This one came out fairly recently. Oh boy. We rented this thing because everybody in their mind was like, oh, Witch is so scary, Witch is scary, gotta get it, Witch. The biggest horror movie you've ever seen in a long time. We rented it, and I mean, Monty Python movies are scarier. This was a joke. I don't know what the hell they were on. I barely could stay awake. That's the truth. I was falling asleep in the movie. And as we were getting towards the end, I was begging for anything. It's another one of those, without spoiling anything, get ready to sit around for 2.5 hours, and 10 minutes of the movie's actually got some kind of interesting something to watch, and it's at the very end. And just as you hope I'm about to see something just ravage its way through people or something, because the tension's been building for 2 hours. Roll the credits. So we've seen it before, and it actually was done with the Blair Witch. So be honest, if you were like, nah, I'm going to force myself to see 5 of these movies, don't go see Witch, grab Blair Witch. It's a better movie. All right, and then number 1, The Wicker Man. Oh, have you ever seen this thing? Great for comedy, horrible horror movie, at least in my opinion. No horror, no suspense, bad CG. And I actually wanted to see it. I am one of those people out there that I'm actually a Nicolas Cage fan. I am. I like a good portion of his earlier work. I will admit, ever since he's had the financial troubles. It seems like he's taking any role, and I'm not making fun of him for that. I would do it too. I mean, if they paid me to put lipstick on, guess what? This show and everyone after this, I'm gonna be wearing lipstick. That's just how it goes. But yeah, this one, I don't know if he filmed it before. I can't remember, so don't hold me to this. I don't know if he filmed it before the financial troubles or after, but it just seems slapped together, and that's not actually even his fault. It's not like he's the guy in the editing room. Somebody should have seen it and be like, God, these CG graphics are horrible even for when they came out, so, okay. So that was the 10 worst list, okay? Now for the good stuff. The 10 best. All right, here we go. Number 10. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right. What can you say? Right? The original. 1970s. Old Leatherface out there swinging chainsaws, snapping necks and cashing checks, hanging people on meat hooks. The stuff that they did in that low budget film, and how uncomfortable the movie makes you feel right from the opening credits without giving a single thing away. It single-handedly scared, a good portion of the country to never want to go south, more importantly to Texas, ever again. Chainsaw sales, I'm sure plummeted. Don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure if it did, and chicken, by the way, fried chicken, probably right to the floor. All thanks to that little horror movie made on a very low budget, and it's well done. It holds up today. It's one of those things that didn't rely on CG. It's all practical effects and gags, and the idea is terrifying. The monster is terrifying. It's a situation you would never want to be in. And even if you got stuck in that situation today, I think even with cell phones, where you could call for help in a situation where they couldn't in the 70s, it would still be terrifying. All right. Number 9. Let's go with the Spookies. I'm just joking, not the Spookies, although it is one of my favorites. And if you ever get a chance to watch it, I suggest you do. Real quick, it's going to get an honorable mention. It's not number 9. We're going to slip between number 9 and 10. It gets an honorable mention, and this is why. This poor guy was making 2 separate horror movies at the time. Once again, low budget, independent film. And from what I can understand, couldn't really afford to finish either one of them. And that's unfortunate. But what he ended up doing is melding them together. And the acting is subpar, but it's so subpar, it's hilarious. There is some decent special effects in there, practical, but the sound effects that are used are hilarious. I don't want to spoil a single thing. Get a little tipsy, get your friends around. You can watch the Spookies for free. 1986 movie, I think you have to search Spookies 1986 on YouTube. You can watch it for free. So this ain't even going to cost you a dime. Load your friends up, get drunk, put that on. It's a laugh. You won't disappoint yourself. All right. Number 9 is really going to be Jaws. All right. Now, and that's also another submission from Mr. Alec. Thank you, Alec, for that one. Mr. Jaws. What can you say about that? I mean, good acting, good casting, great movie, great story. Made us all afraid to go into the ocean. Now nobody wanted to go to the coast or go to Texas. Sharks kill, what is it? They say less people than vending machines each year. It doesn't matter. As soon as you hit an ocean, tell me one of the first thoughts to roll through your mind is, God, I hope I don't get bit by a shark. And Jaws has got a big part of that. They got a big part of getting in your psyche and making you think about that. Okay, let's see, what's next? Number 8. The Exorcist. Oh, yes, that one's got to be on my list. This movie, once again, great acting, great characters, practical special effects, no CG, terrifying, especially to the religious. If you're more of a religious person, you've never seen it, I recommend you watch it. It'll scare the bejesus out of you. Full-grown people that have been at our house when we have like a sleepover, a get-together, something like this, have watched the movie full-grown and have been frightened to sleep. And to be honest, even still to this day, frightens my wife. Linda Blair, I think is her name. She did the main character in the movie. Phenomenal job. And being a kid, it scared the hell out of me. And if you do get the chance to see it, make sure you see the extended version. That one's cool. They put all the creepy walking and demons and stuff back in there. It's pretty neat. Okay, let's see. Next on the list, House on Haunted Hill. The modern one. Now, the original one's good too. I like the Vincent Price version. But the modern one that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think that has everything a horror movie is supposed to have. The premise, without spoiling the story, is a man is willing to pay $1 million if this group of people that he selects for a party for his wife can make it through the night without wanting to leave in his house of horrors. And it's supposed to be a haunted house. It's an old insane asylum converted into somewhat of a mansion. And then they converted it again into be the little party house. And it's got, a good enough story that you're just like, okay, I'm ready to, what is this about? And the CG for the time is good. It still kind of stands up today. The jump scares are good. The guy that they got to play Mr. Price in there, phenomenal. And shame on me for not knowing actors' names. When you see him, you're going to know, man, I've seen this guy in other things. This is kind of he was sandbagging in this one, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. It makes for a great movie. Okay, let's see. Next on the list, Halloween. Iconic, right? The monster that just doesn't think. It's not human. Murders his own family. Now you see, now that's what I'm talking about where horror comes home. It's what, in Haydenfield, Illinois or something like that. It's your, suburbanite, middle America. Nothing ever goes wrong here. We chase the drunks out. Homeless people aren't allowed to beg. Everybody says, excuse me, in church on Sundays. That type of thing. And we got a killer loose and he wreaks havoc. And it's great. It's terrifying. This and that mask for Mr. Michael Myers. Wow. Of course, it's all common knowledge now that it's. I almost said Hugh Hefner. That I've been wrong. It's a mask of. What's his name? From Star Trek. I can't think of it. Anyway, it's a mask of the 1960 Star Trek Captain James Kirk. I can't think of his regular name. I don't know. You'll just have to figure it out. You do some research. I did my end of the research. That's it. Anyway, what a great mask. They painted it white, put it on, and boom. I mean, it sells the trick. It sells the package. Pretty much, I'd say the second one. And so 1 and 2 are pretty good. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but if you happen to watch it, little fun fact, part 2 really is still night 1. It picks up right where the part 1 ends. And I mean the minute part 1 ends. So, but Halloween part 2 technically is still Halloween part 1, like night 1. All right. Next on the list, Nightmare on Elm Street. Another one. Horror Comes Home. Great director, great cast. Robert Englund, steals the show. And although this is more of a comedic horror, it's definitely there when the teens are getting, chopped up. You kind of care for some of them, And yeah, I know the series eventually ended up getting kind of campy. But for me, even Jason versus Freddy, or Freddy versus Jason, is a cool movie. The idea is still cool. And to prove that stuff's still going on, people are asking for, a reboot with Robert Englund. Because once you take him out, when they tried to reboot it recently in 2010 or 9 or whatever, it failed. It flopped. But everybody loved him. He was a very charismatic character, very funny. If you haven't seen it, which I'm pretty damn sure all of you have, there's not many people that you can say 1, 2, and they don't know the rest of that. All right, I hear you in there. I hear you. 1, 2. That's right. All right. So next on the list, Friday the 13th. Another one. Another great slasher. So Jaws made you scared to go to the water. Texas Chainsaw Massacre made you scared to go to Texas or around chainsaws. So you say, where can I go? Let's go on a small camping trip with the family, something safe, but away from home. And do you get to keep that? No. No, you don't. Instead, there's a guy with another great mask, especially for the later. I know the first one, without spoiling anything, is a little bit different. just in case you haven't seen the series. But it definitely isn't safe to go to the campground. All right, that's for sure. So iconic, the monster. You know, it's the modern day. I would argue, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Leatherface are the modern Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman. That started the horror many years ago. And also, none of that is on this list. I don't have anything really prior to 1970 that I can think of. And there's kind of a reason for that. Of course, it's going to be classic, and you can never forget where we came from. Dracula's and Wolfman and Frankenstein. But by today's standards, at least to me, they're not scary. They seem friendly. They're more like characters like Marvel would put out, you know. And I actually would love to see that, like a horror Avengers. All right. So Friday the 13th, still great. Yeah, great movie. Great series. Check them all out. And if you haven't played the game, play that. If you like the movies, play the game. You're going to love it. It's pretty much playing the movie. Number 3, Get Out. All right. That's a pretty new one, I know. And you're like, well, that's not very gory or anything. No, but the idea of it, the movie's so smart, at least in my opinion. It's so smart, so well done. The characters, the acting. And that was that guy's first movie from Key and Peele. So he's the director. And the racial tension that's in it, right? But not at first. That's just an all-around great psychological thriller. And no, I will be honest, there's only a couple little jump scares. And the jump scares in the movie are cheap. I'm going to say it right now. Cheap. But, because it's a horror movie, it's got to have a couple. Everything else about the movie, in my opinion, is terrifying in the fact of, could that happen to you? You know? And, you know, maybe it could. I don't know. It's based enough in reality that it's terrifying. Which most of the ones that are on the list do. Okay. All right. Number 2, Night of the Living Dead. Okay, this one does go earlier than the 70s, because that was actually in the 60s that movie was made. Night of the Living Dead. George Romero. Classic. Introduced the world into zombie movies. And why it's on this list is because it still can be frightening to think, and obviously it stands true. Look at The Walking Dead. And modern zombie movies, zombies in video games, zombies everywhere. We love zombies. They're terrifying. We like it. The reboots have all done well, especially from Romero stuff. All right. But what I really like about this one too is he had the balls to make the lead character an African American in the 1960s, and he doesn't. It's one of the horror movies where the black guy doesn't die first. He doesn't. It you know. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I believe you can watch that one for free on YouTube too. The copyright, George kind of got screwed on that one for whatever reason, and it's kind of like a free or open-ended copyright. So as long as you're not some business showing it off or trying to make money on it, I think you can watch it for free. All right, and this one is personal preference, by the way. Number 1, best horror movie all time, Return of the Night of the Living Dead. All right, that is a fantastic movie. Just recently posted on my media page about it. It's fantastic. It's got great special effects, practical effects, great acting, great actors. It's directed well. I love it, and for what it is, being a zombie movie, I think they did a great job of combining fear and comedy. It felt like somebody had taken all the things that were scary about Tales from the Crypt and kind of mixed them with EC's, you know, comics, Tales from the Crypt, you know, which had more of like tongue-in-cheek, and it's just phenomenal, in my opinion. The guy who plays one of the main characters in there, Tarman, nails it. They said they got this actor who's supposed to move around as if his body is being connected only by small little shreds of flesh, and if he moves the wrong way, he'll just totally fall apart because he's been eaten up and just old and just slimy. And the guy that got to do this is skin and bones, and the way he moves, you believe it. You think he's just going to fall apart. And Tarman, gotta give my love to Tarman. All right, that's the 2 top 10s of horror movies. What's up next, you ask? Well, some weird metaphors. Here's some weird metaphors for you. He was as tall as a 6'3" tree. What the hell does that mean? He was as tall as a 6'3" tree. So you're saying he was 6'3"? Here's another metaphor that I have always had a weird thing with. That whole one bird in the hand is equal to two in the bush. Well, who the hell goes around catching birds? And why would you want one other than to eat it? And if there is two in the bush and you've already caught one, why not put it away and get the other two? Because you're pretty good at catching birds, right? Just saying. I'm sure long ago it meant a lot. Now, I don't know, the meaning is kind of lost on me. Here's another one. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know about you fine people, but I've never been gifted a horse. And if you did gift it to me, I wouldn't look it in the mouth. All right? And I understand that someone said, well, back in the day, you used to have to look and tell if it comes or how. It's a freaking gift horse. Who would do that? Who does that? Who gets a gift and like, well, you open this iPhone. I don't know. It's a little late. I mean, people don't do that. And if you do, you're a jerk. You don't deserve gifts anyway. Let's see. Oh, if your friend jumps off a bridge, would you do it too? Now, here's a hell of a question, and we've all been asked it by our parents, right? If your friend jumps off a bridge, are you gonna do it too? Well, now that depends. Without being a smart ass, let's find out if there's too much information that's lacking from this here metaphor. For instance, why is he jumping off the bridge? Is the bridge on fire? Is there something coming on that in which he jumps off the bridge, he'll be safe? Or is there like a train underneath filled with mattresses that this is his only opportunity to jump off and get on a train that goes somewhere? Because in that case, yes, I'm going to jump off with my friend. Right? Is he being paid? Is he just jumping off to injure himself? Well, obviously, I don't want to just injure myself, but most of the time, I would say if my friend was doing something and I deemed it to be okay, I was most likely doing it too. Not because he was doing it, but because I just wanted to spend time with my friend and enjoying whatever activity we were doing. Okay, we'll get past that one. Let's see. Here's another one that gets to me. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Well, no shit. No shit. You store things. We all store things. You don't have to be a hoarder to do this. I guarantee you, somewhere in your house, you've got extra gas for your lawnmower, or extra paper to write something down, or some extra pens, or you have something. An extra jar to store something, extra Tupperware to store something, extra Ziploc bags. And you're like, yeah, every day when you look at them, those Ziploc bags are there. You're like, yeah, and every time you make a sandwich, you put it in the Ziploc bag, you're like, yeah, they're there. And then the day that you open it and it's not there, you're like, shit. Well, doesn't it always seem to go? You never know what you got till it's gone. Like you're going to miss it more. Of course you're going to fucking miss it. You ran out, so go buy some more, right? And if there was something that you handled or mishandled and gave away and treated like it was nothing and then it became all the rave, well, you still were happy that the moment you threw it away. So yeah, I guess technically don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. But and looking at it another way, have you ever just gave away a diamond? Like, I don't know what it is. It's a shiny clear rock. Here, you have it. And they're like, you dummy, it's worth money. Oh, what is it? And they say, oh, it's a diamond. A diamond? What's that? And it's like the most valuable rock that anybody could ever give away. And you're like, oh, doesn't always seem to go. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah, that one kind of sucks. Then last but not least, this one has always burnt my ass. I don't mind sharing it with you. We've all heard it. The thing to go with, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Yeah. Well, what's that got to do with my relationship? Well, your partner liked to swim? I mean, I don't know. What's that got to do with it? You come home, mom, dad, my first boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, whatever, broke up with me. It's the official worst day ever in my life. Oh, honey, don't worry. Plenty of fish in the sea. Fantastic if I would have said to you, I'm starving for seafood. I didn't say that. I said my heart was broken. Another one that goes with that is, if you love it, set it free. And if it comes back to you, well, it was meant to be. And if not, well, so let me get this straight. So if you love a dog, you're raising a dog, it's a family member, for Christ's sakes, right? You let it out, and it gets free. You're like, oh, okay, great. If it comes back, it loves you. But if not, it's because it wasn't meant to be. I call bullshit. If it doesn't come back, it's because somebody picked the damn thing up and took it away, or it left you completely, and that doesn't stop the fact that you love it. You know what I mean? Or chocolate. Let's say you're just dealing with simple chocolate. So if you love it, well, I'm about to eat some chocolate. No, I truly love chocolate. I'm going to wrap this chocolate back up, and I'm just going to give it away. If somebody gives it back to me, it was meant to be. Who the hell is going to give you back that chocolate? You're like, here, have my chocolate because I love it. Oh, okay, no problem. And young, gone. Gone. Chocolate, gone. Hot dogs, gone. Pizza, gone. And I love all those things. And I'll never give them up. I'll get enough that if you would like some, you can have some with me. I would very much like to do that. But as far as taking mine to prove to you that I love it, well, you know what my proof is to you that I love it? Gone. Well. This has been fun, top 10 list. I hope next week that you have some other ideas for the next episode. Go ahead and leave them in the links down below on all these webpage media outlets. Once again, you mean the world to this show, to me. Without you, I would just be talking to nobody. And once again, I'm sorry you had nothing better to do on a Saturday night. But here we are again, exchanging, feeling, loving, learning. Okay. And you know I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. Okay. Couldn't leave you empty-handed now, could I? It's that time, folks. All right. Here we go. 1 and a 2 and a... Because we're positive people. We talk about things that were a little scary, and I'll admit it got a little hairy, alright. But you hung in tight. We talked about scary things and spooky news, and I saw a little fear in all of you, that's right. But you did well. Makes me happy, oh can't you see? Cause we're positive people. Last verse, folks. Thanks for coming by Saturday night to see that I'm healthy and I'm doing alright. Oh yeah, you know I appreciate it. I got one last thing to do, and that's for me to tell all of you that yes, you are appreciated. Well, I couldn't do this without all of you. I'm so thankful you came on through. I said, hey, drink yourself a little Mountain Dew. We're done, let's look up for your health. And we're positive people.